There's a new method going viral on the internet right now that is helping men reduce visceral body fat like nothing we've ever seen before. And it's called carbohydrate metabolism. In this video, I'm going to show you not only what it is, how it works, and how you can actually do it yourself today. So make sure to stick around for the entire video because I'm going to break down 3 simple steps to transition your body into a carbohydrate metabolism state. So if you guys don't know me by now, my name's Adam Buttle. I'm an online fat loss specialist, and I specialize in metabolic health. I specialize in a process called Metabolic Priming that has allowed me and 400 plus of my current clients in 7 different countries get to absolute elite level body compositions, actually eating more food. Take my client Wayne right here, for example. He's eating 1,000 more calories a day on the right. My client Mitch right here, he's eating 1,300 more calories a day on the right here. My client Jake right here, he's eating 1,400 calories more per day on the right. My client Mason, he's eating 800 more calories a day on the right. And all of this, it's not a gimmick. This is just simple science and understanding how your actual metabolism works. And the first process in doing this is transitioning the body into what's called a carbohydrate metabolism state. So the benefits of carbohydrate metabolism is strictly for the guys who have been stuck on low-carb ketogenic diets and have downregulated their metabolism with very caloric restrictive diets. And what happens when you utilize these diets is you downregulate your metabolism. And yes, you might see great progress for the first 20 pounds, first 25 pounds, but you kind of hit that wall where you're just kind of spinning your wheels and fluttering your feet a little bit, not really making any much progress. And it's because you've downregulated your metabolism. So the best thing to do, and the next thing we need to know to do, is really hyper-focus on the metabolism. So if we transition the body from a fat-adapted state like ketosis into a carbohydrate metabolism state, there are tons of benefits that come with directly influencing with something called basal metabolic rate. So basal metabolic rate makes up 60% of your entire metabolism. And if we have a process called in carbohydrate metabolism that we can hyper-focus on the 60% of your entire metabolism, we can have full control of how your body actually burns calories at rest. And that's why you guys see on my channel, we have tons of clients up thousands of calories per day and down significant amount of body fat percentage because we're hyper-targeting the exact part of their metabolism that drives the most actual fat loss. So very quickly, I want to actually introduce you to what carbohydrate metabolism actually is. So the old way of doing things and what the fitness industry has pushed down your guys' throat for the last 10 years is low-carb diets, ketogenic diets, and something called fat adaptation. So fat adaptation is a metabolic shift, right? And the difference between the two is fat adaptation is achieved through low carbohydrate, high-fat diets, shifts the body's primary fuel source from carbohydrates to fats, improving fat oxidation and potentially enhancing endurance. Carbohydrate metabolism, on the other hand, involves utilizing the body's carbohydrates energy for primary through glucose. Like the body's primary default fuel source is carbohydrates. So I know you guys right now watching this video think that carbohydrates are the absolute devil, but when you have the correct amount of carbohydrates in your diet and you have a range of carbohydrates and know how many grams of carbohydrates to eat, you have a lot more control over how you look and a lot more control over health panels as well. Because down in the carbohydrates leads to a lower level of cortisol, lower level of inflammation, better brain activity and less mental fog, and overall better recovery through reduction of inflammation. So breaking down the two, this is the old way of doing things where people are kind of stuck in their own ways. But if you've been watching this by now, and you're somebody who has tried low carbohydrate diets, and you just kind of hit that wall where you can't really get past and you just gain it right back, that's because you've metabolically downshifted your metabolism. And so I want you to pay attention to this video because I'm going to help you out as best that I possibly can with understanding transitioning your body back into a carbohydrate metabolism state. So fat adaptation is a metabolic shift where the body becomes more efficient using fat as its primary fuel source rather than carbohydrates. In ketosis, the body produces ketones from fat, which can be used as an alternative fuel source by the brain and other tissues. So I want to put this in the context too, is that like ketosis happens when you're at a low carbohydrate diet for the course of a week or 2 weeks and the body fully transitions, right? So the problem is if once you get out of ketosis, there is a secondary transitionary period when the body has to utilize carbohydrates correctly. So when you're in a ketosis state, anytime that you eat over 50 grams of carbohydrates, your body doesn't know what to exactly do with it right off the bat. It becomes where, you're getting bad digestion from carbohydrates, mental fog from carbohydrates, lack of energy from carbohydrates, and it's because you've metabolically downshifted and metabolically shifted your body into using fats as its primary fuel source. The problem with it It's not very sustainable. It's not very fun. Usually, typically, people get pretty hungry. There's not really a great sense of actual inflammation reduction within overall ketosis, right? Because the body needs to transition properly. You're basically forcing the body to utilize its secondary fuel source, like fats, right? The problem is when you're an endurance athlete, like you're a strength training athlete, you're a bike rider, you're a mountain climber, or you're an athlete, these fat adaptated states don't have the proper amount of inflammation reduction. Let's take HIIT training, for example. We have a lot of guys who come to us doing HIIT training and at a very low carbohydrate diet. And so they utilize these diets and they have a lot of inflammation accruing to their body, which makes them look and appear to have more fluff around them. And they don't look and appear as dry. And all that is a lot of cortisol and inflammation being packed on the body from a low carbohydrate diet. So if you're a performance athlete, you need carbohydrates in your diet because carbohydrates are directly linked to performance. Because let's think about this from a logical perspective. Carbohydrates are the body's primary ready available fuel source, right? They are burned very quickly within the body, as opposed to fats, which are more likely to store as body fats because it's going to be a slower digesting macromolecule, but it's also going to be better for energy storage, right? So when we have carbohydrates ready available intramuscularly glucose-wise, you have more available energy for high-intensity activities. So the difference between fat adaptation and carbohydrate metabolism is carbohydrates are the body's primary ready available fuel source. Excess glucose is stored as glycogen in livers and muscles, and further excess is stored as fat. So yes, if you overeat on carbohydrates, you will store fat, but the thing is that one, due to de novo lipogenesis, a study within men, carbohydrates store less body fat than the actual macromolecule fat. So with that being said, if you overeat on carbohydrates, you will gain weight. But if you eat the correct amount of carbohydrates, you have a synergistic effect with how the body looks primarily in the reduction of cortisol, improvement of brain fog, improvement of sleep, improvement of serotonin levels in the brain, and improvement of overall recovery and performance. And so glycogen is a storage form of glucose ready available for energy during periods of high activity when carbohydrate intake is low. So how do we do this correctly? How do we transition the body properly? So first, you want to find your daily caloric intake, right? Track your food for a total of 3 to 6 days. Divide by how many days you track. Example, 2,000 calories per day for 3 days divided by 3 days tracked equals 2,000 calories. So dial in protein and fats. So I want you to dial in your protein and fats. If you're somebody who's only tracked calories, you need to be able to track protein, carbs, and fats. Calories affect your weight, macronutrients affect you how you look, and micronutrients affect how you feel. So tracking macronutrients will give you the cosmetic appearance of that six-pack abs and that lean physique that you want to eat. So a lot of guys, they'll be tracking protein goals, but they won't know their fat and the carbs, and that's a perfect example of where you could actually improve. The macronutrients are correlated to how you look. So with that being said, is that I'm going to break down exactly how to find your protein and fats, but keep into context, I keep about 90% of the information off this YouTube channel for my paid for clients, okay? So with that being said, if you want the higher level guidance, and you can try this and it will help you make amazing progress right off the bat, but if you want the higher level guidance and you just want a quick and easy route like most of my clients do and have everything laid off on the table, there'll be a link below describing our program and you're more than happy to check that out. But for that purpose is I'm going to teach you how to kind of transition your body into a carbohydrate metabolism state in the most simple form possible, with keeping a lot of the information off of this channel for my paid for clients. So 1 to 1.2 times your body weight in protein, right? 0.3 times your body weight in fats. Example, 200-pound male, protein, 200, it would be 240 grams per day. If current protein goal is lower than 200, start at 200. So if you're 200 pounds, you've been eating 175 grams, start at 200. If you've been eating around 200, 210, start at 225. You can always work this up slowly based upon where you're at. So very simple is that if you're currently eating under 200 grams, start at 1 gram. If you're eating at 1 gram, start at like 1.01 or start somewhere between 1.0 and 1.2. So 225 would be great. And then you could eventually raise that up to 240. There's never a need to ever go over 250 grams of protein per day. If you can overeat on protein, yes. So like benefit-wise, overeating on protein, there's a significant more benefit after 250 to putting those calories to use in carbohydrates, okay? I want you to keep that in mind. You don't need to go over 250. It doesn't matter if your body weight's 300, 340, you don't need to go over 250 grams of protein per day. Fat, for instance, 0.3 times a day in body weight. 200 pounds times 0.3 is 60. Never go below 50 grams. So I don't care how much you weigh, do not go below 50 grams because yes, you can go too low in fats to where it starts to degrade your testosterone. But when you dial in your fats, there is a great effect to overall body composition because of overall digestion. So the carbohydrate metabolism method that we use is kind of a lower fat process that makes it to where digestion becomes very clean. So a lot of guys come to us with highly inflamed guts, cortisol guts, or inflammation in the guts. We lower their fats a little bit and it improves a lot of digestion because we understand fat intake in general. Yes, fat intake does correlate to hormones, it does correlate to testosterone, but it also correlates to digestion because it has a 9 calories per gram and a 3% thermic effect, which is the highest calories per gram and the lowest thermic effect of the 3 macromolecules. So never go below 50 grams. You will see a decrease in testosterone if you go too low, but 60 grams per day at 0.3 is beautiful for a carbohydrate metabolism state because we're transitioning the body to primarily utilize the carbohydrates to its fullest capacity. So it's like we have more readily available digestive enzymes and probiotics, prebiotics within carbohydrates to digest faster and quicker, but we also have a higher thermic effect with carbohydrates being at a 10% and a lower thermic effect of fats, lowering that fat just a little bit, okay? So never need to go above 70 to 80 grams of fat. That's kind of a little bit of overkill, but 60 grams for a 200-pound male, perfectly great. Step 3, what I want you to do, backfill the rest of carbohydrates and work on metabolic priming. So 200 grams of protein equals 800 calories, 60 grams of fat equals 540 calories. Take the calories from protein and fat, which is 1340, and then subtract 1340 from starting calories and divide by 4 grams. So basically what we would do is the starting calories that you got from the caloric intake value that you did in step 1, take that number divided by the total number of calories from fat and protein, and that's when you'll get your starting calories from carbohydrates. Next, divide those starting calories from carbohydrates by 4 to get the grams for carbohydrates, because every gram of carbohydrate, every 4 grams of carbohydrate is where we want to be. So 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, okay? So wait 2 weeks and then raise carbohydrates to prime metabolism. So the thing that we do differently most than anybody else in the industry is we focus on priming the metabolism first because it's going to lead to a lot more benefits with overall basal metabolic rate, caloric burn at rest, and making sure we put the body into a transitionary period of utilizing the fullest capacity of your metabolism. So we want to prime the metabolism first. We don't want to lower calories because let's put us in the context. It's like if somebody comes to us and they're eating 2,000 calories, we transition their body properly, and then we start to lower their calories. We go to 1,900, we go to 1,800, we go to 17, and now we're not even eating much more than a teenage girl, okay? So we have to prime the metabolism. To prime the metabolism correctly, we have to raise the calories. And I know a lot of people think a lot of different things about this, but the results, they speak for themselves. We have guys up 1,000 calories a day, down 30, 40, 50 pounds using this exact process. And so to understand priming your metabolism in full, I want to explain what metabolic priming is. So metabolic priming with carbs refers to strategically implementing carbohydrate intake to optimize the body metabolic processes, particularly for fat burning and energy production. It's a technique used to prepare the body for a fat loss phase to improve athletic performance by enhancing the efficiency of how the body uses and stores energy. So it's basically preconditioning the body. Metabolic priming with carbs involves gradually increasing carbohydrate intake before a fat loss diet or intense training period. This helps the body adapt to using carbohydrates more efficiently, optimizing metabolic pathways involved in energy production and storage, and then enhance fat burning. By strategically using carbs, metabolic priming can indirectly support fat burning. It can help the body transition more smoothly into a fat-burning state by ensuring adequate energy stores and optimizing metabolic pathways for efficient fat metabolism. Carbohydrates are the body's primary fuel source. We know that. This can lead to improved energy levels, better workout performance, and enhanced recovery. By pairing the carbohydrates with the protein, metabolic priming can support muscle growth, repair, especially after workouts. This is because carbohydrates can help shuttle protein in the muscle cells, aiding in protein synthesis. So the biggest caveat behind this entire metabolic priming process is metabolic priming is often personalized with adjustments made to the timing, amount, and type of carbohydrate consumed based on individual needs. So I want to put that in the caveat. With doing this process within the first 2 weeks, you will see progress, I promise you, because I've done this 400 plus times with different clients around the world. But the actual customization and knowing what carbohydrates to change and what to take back is the biggest caveat behind the entire process of transitioning your body into carbohydrate metabolism state. Because guys come to us, and yes, our clients check in once per week. and we make adjustments based on the progress they make. Sometimes we take carbohydrates away to let the body transition a little bit more smoothly. Sometimes we add 50 grams of carbohydrates in 1 week to prime the metabolism even more. And sometimes we don't do anything. We wait till the body transitions. It's a process that involves a lot of hands-on guidance and a lot of customization. There is no one-sided formula to help you guys transition the body correctly besides this initial starting phase, because the next steps require understanding how the body looks, where your energy pathways lie, where your energy's at, how good is your strength training programs, where's your fatigue, where's your hunger levels at, and everything in between by making data-driven adjustments. So that's the biggest caveat behind this entire video, is that this will help you make the initial progress, but 90% of the entire metabolic priming process and transition the body to carbohydrate metabolism process comes from an individualized approach that we obviously hand to our paid for clients, and just take all of that stress off the table and tell them when to change, what to eat, and XYZ in between. So if that's something that you are interested in, and you're somebody who has been stuck with low carb ketogenic diets for the last 10 years, being fed down your throat that lowering your calories is the way to go, click that link below, and it'll shoot you over to a video and explain a little bit more about our program. But for the guys who just want some simple, progress within the first 2 weeks and, good direction on what to go next, this will help you make the first initial progress. And that's my whole goal, is to help you guys make the initial progress, to basically come back to this video, tell me how well that you did, because I'm 100% confident that it will, and then eventually join our program with the hundreds of men that we do work with, right? Because like I said, I do hand out all the information on my channel for free for the purpose of understanding and help you guys make initial progress, but 90% of what is kept on this channel is kept off this channel for the purpose of utilizing it for the respect of my paid for clients. So if you guys like this video, try this out. Like I urge you, go try this out. Come back to this video, comment in the comment section how it went for you, and like I promise you will make the great progress within the first 2 to 3 weeks. But it will take an individualized approach, raising carbohydrates a little bit, maybe lowering them a little bit, maybe changing protein up a little bit, to really fully utilize the full transition of metabolic priming. But the benefits of it long term is, let's think about this like logically. Like, what if you didn't have to be scared of carbohydrates? What if you could go out to eat on the weekends with the wife and not have to worry about gaining weight? What if you go on vacation and not have to worry about gaining 10 pounds? What if you could have more flexibility within your diet and have a piece of cake, have a donut whenever you like, and not have to worry about the carbohydrates overflooding your system, and just honestly, and all just repair your current state of relationship with food. And obviously, at the end of the day, that's what's most important, is creating sustainability long term and creating education that aligns with sustainability long term. Because once you understand how the body works and how your body works specifically on what you need to do, what you can't do, and where that line is that you can't cross, clarity becomes independent, right? And it's a very liberating feeling. And I want that for every single one of you watching this video right now. So anyways, if you like, comment, subscribe. If you love these videos, shoot me a bell notification, because we've got videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday coming out. And put in the comment section what you guys want to hear about next, because I'm happy to help out wherever I can. So see you guys later.